The night my uncle walked out of the woods. I grew up in a house that backed up to a thick stretch of woods. The trees pressed close against our fence, their branches clawing the sky, and when the wind howled, it felt like the whole forest leaned in to listen. My dad always told me not to wander too far past the tree line. He said animals lived out there we didn't want to disturb. One autumn night when I was 9, I woke to the crunch of leaves outside my window. At first I thought it was a raccoon. Then I heard the unmistakable creak of our back gate. My heart jumped. I crept out of bed and pressed my face to the glass, my breath fogging the pain. A figure stood in the yard, half hidden by the shadows of the oak tree. As he stepped forward, the porch light caught his face. It was my Uncle Mark. His hair was damp with sweat, his shirt smeared with mud. But the strange thing was, we hadn't seen him in almost 5 years. I bolted to my parents' room. "Dad, Uncle Mark is outside!" I whispered frantically. Dad's face went rigid. He didn't even glance at Mom. He grabbed the baseball bat he kept near the nightstand and stormed downstairs. I trailed behind, my small hands clutching the railing. When Dad opened the back door, the night air swept in, cool and sharp with the scent of wet earth. Uncle Mark stood on the porch steps, shoulders hunched, eyes wild. "Don't let him in," Mom called from the hallway, her voice sharp. "Please," Mark rasped, his voice breaking. "You don't understand. They're coming. I just need a place to stay tonight." Dad stepped outside, shutting the door behind him. I pressed my ear to the wood, my pulse pounding. Their voices rose and fell, muffled, urgent. I caught words like danger and not safe. Then came the sound of a struggle. Feet scraping, the bat clattering on the deck, a grunt of pain. Mom yanked me back, her hands cold on my arms. "Go upstairs, now!" But I couldn't move. I heard Dad's voice, low and fierce. "You can't bring this here." When he finally came back inside, he was breathing hard, a cut on his lip. "Go to bed," he told me. His voice brooked no argument. The next morning, the yard was undisturbed. No sign anyone had been there. When I asked, Mom snapped, "It was a nightmare. Forget it." But Dad's silence told me otherwise. For years, I tried to convince myself maybe it had been a dream. But at 16, while digging through the hall closet for winter coats, I found an old box of newspapers. On the front page of one was a headline, "Local man wanted in connection with armed robbery." The grainy photo was unmistakable, my Uncle Mark. My chest tightened as I read the article. He'd been on the run, last seen near the woods outside town. Police urged residents to lock their doors. The date? The same week he showed up on our porch. I confronted Dad that night, my voice trembling. "Why didn't you tell me?" He leaned back in his chair, shadows cutting across his face. "You were a child. You didn't need that burden." But I saw him. I heard him. Dad's jaw worked, his hands clenching. "And you'll carry that memory like I do. But sometimes, son, the truth doesn't set you free. It just weighs you down," I wanted to argue, but the way his eyes glistened shut me up. To this day, whenever I walk past those woods, I half expect to see my uncle step out again. Mud on his clothes, desperation in his eyes, and I still don't know whether Dad drove him away for our safety or if he left something unfinished that night on the porch.